My name is Boris Leon Pirelli. I am an insurance agent. I do have a license in 19 states. So I'm going to be talking about term life insurance. First, we're going to go, as always, through the cons, and then we're going to talk about the pros. I don't like to talk about every reason why you should have a product until you know why you shouldn't have it. So, the cons of term life insurance is that you do have to choose a term, meaning that you have to choose between 10 to usually 30 years. So your policy will end at the end of that term. That's why it's called term life insurance, because it will eventually terminate. Okay? And that goes along all the different types of term insurance. There's increasing term, decreasing term, and level term. But they all operate in a very similar way. So, the other con is if you're the type of person that is looking for a policy for the rest of their life, then obviously having that term period is going to be a turnoff because you're going to be older, meaning that the premiums may be higher than when you got it 10, 20, 30 years ago. So, those are the two cons. And really, there's only really those two reasons why you shouldn't have a term policy. It's if you aren't comfortable with the 10 to 20 to 30 years, and if you are looking for a policy for the rest of your life. Now, let's get into the pros because there's way more pros in term life than there is cons. So, I have a little board here. It says term life insurance. We're going to discuss the two pros, which is it's way cheaper. And then the other pro that I have written on here is that it's simple and transparent. So, term life, and so with that, term life is so much cheaper. It is ridiculously cheaper than having a whole life policy. A whole life policy for a $250,000 face amount could cost anywhere from $200 to even more, depending on your age. So, with that being said, if you're 30 years old and you're looking to have a coverage for the next 20 years because you have your investments and everything else in order or trying to get them in order, if you're in that process, term life is most definitely the way to go. And here's why. For $1 million at 30 years old, you're going to be spending $50 a month. $50 a month for $1 million policy is pretty crazy. If you wanted $1 million whole life policy, that would be north of $500, even at 30 years old. Think about it. If 250 is $200, then $1 million would literally be 4 times as much, which in most cases, you should really not even have a whole life policy. I really do agree on this, like Dave Ramsey, and shout out to Dave Ramsey for opening my eyes. I'm an insurance agent. I've sold whole life policies, but I've been very transparent with my clients to let them know that the cash value that they're building in a whole life policy, which I'm kind of getting off subject, but I'm just going to tie this back into why term is usually the better choice. The cash value in a whole life policy doesn't make sense because of the fact that you're borrowing your own money. Now, this is the but. It works for some people who have a strategic plan in place. I'm not against whole life. I'm just saying for the average consumer who hasn't started planning for retirement yet, who is still in debt, and who still doesn't have a lot of savings, a term policy is going to make way more sense because of the fact that it is 10 times more affordable. And you can still have it for 30 years. So if you're 20 years old right now, 30 years old right now, you can have it for 30 years, which within that time frame, you can still get a level premium. Especially if you go with a level term, you are going to have a $50 premium for $1 million worth of coverage for 30 years. That should be more than enough in order to have your family protected. And since the price is so low, It allows you to save the rest of your money into retirement, into your debt, into whatever. So that's why I love term life insurance. Now, I was talking a lot of smack about whole life in my last video, but in this video, term life, I actually really agree with it. So that's why I'm more hyped up about this subject than whole life. Now, the other pro, which is literally these two pros and these two cons, are all you need to know. Obviously, if you're going to be buying a policy, you should be speaking to a licensed person. If you are looking for a policy and you are looking for someone to speak with that is licensed, I will be putting my information down below so we can have a conversation. And that's a separate topic, because for the basic, all you need to know is the two pros and the two cons we're discussing. Last pro is simple and transparent. You can understand term life insurance within this video. Whole life, on the other hand, universal life, index universal life, those products can be more complicated. But with term is you choose your term, 10, 20, 30. You choose how much you want, from 50 to a million to even more of coverage. Get your payment for that time. For every $3 you spend on term life, you're able to get an incredible amount of return. You are spending like 10x what you would be spending in a whole life policy in a term. A term life for $50 a month, you can get $1 million worth of coverage. That sounds absolutely insane. And yes, it is true. But again, that's why having the right information is more important than just having the policy. Because people will try to sell you on the cash value of a whole life policy. And I'm not against it. I actually am for the cash value of a policy. I really am. The issue is most people are not that financially savvy to really use a whole life policy and actually get the benefits. So for the most part, for the majority, a term life policy is way more than enough because it's simple. Literally, like I said, you choose your term, you choose your amount, that's it. There's nothing else for you to know. There is decreasing and increasing term. Decreasing is really used against debts. So if you have a mortgage, you can get a decreasing term policy that as you pay your mortgage off, so does the face amount. So it goes down in the years. So if you pass away, that policy will take care of your debts, which is a pretty neat feature. So those are everything you need. That is everything you need to know about a term life policy. If you want the specifics and you want to know how you can get that, you can reach out to me. My links are down below. This is my own. I am the only person you will be speaking to. I am the only person that you will be speaking to. The way I maneuver, I am the only person you will be speaking to. So if you are interested, you can be rest assured that I'm going to be calling you and giving you a call to discuss about these things, which is just as a final point about term life and whole life and everything, is no product by itself is perfect. No insurance product, no investment product. So doing your own research beforehand is crucial. And that's why I do these type of videos, is so that way you guys can have some kind of solid research before. And also don't take my word for it. Go and I'll even put links down below where you can read articles from people that are smarter than me telling you to do your own research and also telling you the differences, pros and cons. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Again, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you guys are looking for more information on any of these products, feel free to reach out. I hope you guys have a great day.